Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I thought it would be really fun to continue this personal finance series talking about personal finance and minimalism. I wanted to share a bit of the behind the scenes of our minimalism journey. Now, we've been on this journey for 93 months. So that's 7 years and 7.75 years. The only reason I know that very specific figure is because I used our real budgeting numbers from the last 93 months to create the calculations for today. So I'm sharing with you real numbers today, and let me tell you, these numbers will boggle your mind. They certainly blew my eyes wide open when I was doing the calculations. Here's the behind the scenes of the finances of our minimalism journey and how minimalism has saved us over $100,000 in this short amount of time. And in fact, we are well on the way for our non-extreme minimalism to save us over $2 million. $2 million. Wait till you see the very simple shifts that we've made that are going to make generational changes for our family down the line. So I'm just excited to share with you today and give you a little bit of hope and things to think about that you can implement. And so before we dive in, why does this matter? You give yourself more opportunities when you've freed up the money to do so. That's the beauty of minimalism. You don't have to be an extreme minimalist by any means. I certainly am not, but just small strategic changes frees up the money that you need to build your plan A life, to build the life that you really want to live. So that is why I'm so excited to share with you today the small, normal life things that we've made little tiny shifts in that have had huge ripples in our finances. So let's dive in. Okay, so again, I used real numbers in these. I went back to our Google spreadsheets that we have going back for years and years and years and pulled real numbers. The first thing I want to talk about is cutting cable. Now, we cut cable back in June of 2015, and at that point, our cable bill was $109.38 a month. I just did some research, and the average cable bill today is $217.42. But cutting cable at $109 a month over the last 93 months has saved us $10,172.34. That's great. That's not even the best of it. Compounding that money annually at 7%, which is a very reliable and conservative return to expect over a long-term investing threshold, comes out to $13,411.30. So the next big thing, and these numbers will blow your mind, the next big thing is buying used cars. So we don't have junker cars at this juncture in our life, but we also don't have brand new cars. And this was a strategic decision that we've made. So us, as our family rule, we don't go into debt, we don't borrow money to buy cars, we save up cash and we pay for a used car in cash when we need to replace one of our cars. Right now in the US, the average car payment is $700 a month. I was really blown away when I saw that figure. It was pretty much double than what I expected. So for us, we're a 2-car family. My husband and I both have cars. We both need the flexibility of having 2 cars. For us, it's $1,400 a month or $16,800 a year in car payments that we don't have to pay. That's a lot of money just in 1 year. Now, when you consider that most car payment terms these days are 60 months or 5 years, that means you're paying $1,400 over the course of 5 years every month for 2 cars. So that comes out to $84,000. That's a huge outlay. That's a huge outlay, in my opinion, for 2 cars. Take that same payment and compound it at 7% over those 5 years. That comes out to $100,000 or $100,237.77 over the course of 5 years. I mean, that's over $100,000 alone on that one item. Instead, if you save for a couple of months or a year and you save $10,000 cash or $15,000 cash and buy yourself a used car up front, and you don't have a payment for the next 5 years, I mean, you are making out like a bandit. And it just keeps compounding. So if you decide that you're never gonna buy a new car again, and again, you just save up some cash when it's time to replace your car, and you never have that $700 car payment a month for the next 25 years, in my case, until I turn the age 60 when I would retire, theoretically, that becomes, listen to this, $1,102,457.04. Yes, I did not mess up the math, people. I promise you. Not having a car payment for 2 cars, for 2 adults, will save you over $1 million in your adult life. I promise you, like, do the math for yourself. Find an investing compounding calculator on the internet, plug the numbers in for yourself. It is actually that crazy. It will save you over $1 million. just by driving cars that are slightly older and paid for in cash upfront. Please, if you do nothing else, this will change your life. According to LendingTree, auto loan debt is the third largest debt in the US behind mortgages and student loans. To me, mortgages, obviously, we need shelter. Student loans, education is important. But cars, we have a lot more flexibility over the choice of the type of car that we buy and the amount that we choose to spend on it. Okay, so enough about that. The next item that we did that was sort of minimalistic is we got a cheap cell phone plan. So I'm not being crazy. We never went off the grid. I've always had service. I've always had a nice cell phone that works on all the internet and the apps. This is not some sort of crazy, weird, off-grid burner phone. I just switched from Verizon to Republic Wireless, which is a company based out of Raleigh, based here in Raleigh, which is a Wi-Fi first cell phone company. And what that means is the data is offloaded to Wi-Fi first. So if you're in a coffee shop, it uses the Wi-Fi. If you're at home, it uses the Wi-Fi, the office, etc. before it uses cell tower data. That's how these plans are so cheap. So I switched from Verizon, where I was paying $111.59 a month, to Republic, and the bill went down to $31 a month. So that was a savings of $80.59 every month. And side note, I'm on an even cheaper plan now with Ting Wireless, which works the same way, because Ting supported the iPhone and I wanted to switch from Android to iPhone. I think I'm paying $25 a month now. But all told, that's a net savings of $7,494.87, and compounding that annually at 7% over just this last period of time, that's $9,881.30 saved just by switching cell carriers. Still have a cell phone, have always had a cell phone, have all the access that everyone else has. Just by choosing a more strategic cell plan, it saved almost $10,000. Things add up really fast, especially when you have a longer time horizon when it comes to investing. Okay, so moving on. The next thing, I don't really buy seasonal home decor like, updated throw pillows or candles or like the next cute thing that Target has every couple of weeks from Studio McGee or Magnolia. You know what I'm talking about. I just opt out of that stuff. So I approximated maybe $50 4 times a year, $50 every season. 2 throw pillows in the springtime, a couple of candles in the summer, etc. So that over the last 93 months is $1,550, or compounded at 7%, $2,035.36 saved. Likewise, I don't buy books anymore. Over this last 7.5 years, I became a lovely patron of the library, so I no longer purchase books from the bookstore. If you like to buy books and you think, okay, $25 for a book 6 times a year, 1 book every 2 months, that's $150 a year. It's not a lot of money, but over the course of time since we've been minimalist, that's $1,162.50, and invested over that time at a 7% return, $1,532.65. The next sort of minimalist lifestyle choice that I have made is to forgo manicures. And this is not to villainize manicures or self-care by all means. If that is your favorite way to treat yourself, please do that. This is just something that I have foregone, and I'm just sharing our real numbers with you. Not getting a weekly manicure at $25 a week over the course of a year is $1,200 a year, $1,200 at the nail salon. Over the last 93 months, that comes out to $9,300 and compounded $12,261.20. Over $12,000 not spent on my hands. They probably would be a little less calloused and a lot more pretty, but I think it's worth $12,000. It's worth the trade-off for me. And finally, I didn't want to get into the whole list of stuff because I've already made a full video about that. So if you haven't watched my video, 50 Things I Do Not Buy, I will link that here. That video runs through all of the little everyday things throughout the house that we simply forego. There's nothing extreme about it in my opinion, but it might be helpful for you to watch. And so I went back and I quantified those items, and it came out to $473 a month. $473 of miscellaneous items like tissues, extra makeup, nail polish, things like that I don't buy. And so over the course of 12 months or over the course of a year, that comes out to $5,676 of random stuff that we have easily learned to live without. So go ahead and watch the video for the specifics on that. Over the last 93 months, that's $43,989. Almost $44,000 of random stuff that we have just chosen to live without. I mean, minimalism, even a very simple version, your own version of minimalism, can really make big waves in your life. Compounding that at 7% over the last few years is $57,000, almost $58,000. Moving that time horizon all the way through to age 60 when I hopefully will be retiring, or maybe it'll happen before then with these numbers, who knows. That's over $687,000. That is so much money of just like basic, small, minimalistic lifestyle choices that I've made and that we can all make our own version of. I just wanted to open your eyes to how these small choices make huge lifelong ripple effects. There's other things that we've done that minimalism has enabled us to do that I did not even bother to quantify here, but I want to share with you. But these things aren't even included in these calculations. So I mentioned that we don't use credit cards. So we haven't paid a dime in interest on anything except our mortgage, right? On anything we buy in the last 7.5 years or so. We moved to a smaller house at one point, an 800 square foot house, in order to rent out this house, our townhouse where we live once again. But we were able to net a rental profit from this house. And the reason we were able to move to a small house is because we had less stuff, because we were mindfully minimalistic. And again, this is sort of a more unique to us situation, so I didn't want to quantify it. I don't expect that anyone else will replicate that, but just to share with you other unique things that you can do that might fit your situation. And finally, we live in this townhouse again. We moved back here last year. It's 1,300 square feet, which for us is plenty of room. It's bigger than the houses we both grew up in as children, but it's very small for our city. And that's a choice that we make consciously. So could we, or do we want to live in a bigger, nicer house? We don't need to. And we consciously choose to live in this smaller space because, one, we have less things, so we don't feel like we're cramped in here. We have the opportunity to live smaller, which allows us to live a little bit lighter. And it also allows us to save money, not only on a more expensive mortgage, but on utilities, on property insurance, on maintenance on a big house like that. So again, just a small lifestyle choice that we've made. So I want to know, how has minimalism saved you money? What have you cut that if you zoom out and you do the math, you are mind blown at how much you are adding to your net worth, your retirement accounts, and more importantly, your flexibility, your options. What opportunities are you giving to yourself through your strategic minimalism and management of your personal finances? If you like this video, let me know. Leave a comment below, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend. I'm so grateful that you're here. I will see you next Monday.